Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. For those of you that have been following my cooking videos over the years, you know I typically cook from gaming or film related cookbooks, but I also share a few of my own personal private recipes that I've developed over the years for my family. And the one thing those recipes have in common is they're typically made from scratch. However, there's a large majority of people out there who are intimidated by cooking videos like that because they don't know how to cook. They've reached adulthood and never felt the need nor the desire to learn how to turn on their stove. So this video is aimed towards that person. So if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place, and hopefully I've got you covered. So today I'm going to be making Huevos Rancheros for the person who doesn't know how to cook. The ingredients we're going to need are 1 jar of your favorite salsa, 1 can of refried beans. You can either use smooth or the ones that still have some whole beans in them. I've got a package of flour tortillas here, but you could substitute that out with corn tortillas if you prefer the flavor of those more. And you'll need some eggs. For our optional ingredients, from a jar of pickled jalapenos, I've diced up roughly 1.5 tablespoons of them. I've got some sliced green onions that I'm going to use for garnish later. I had some leftover coheated cheese from a video I did a little while ago, so I'll be putting some of that on as a garnish. And I really like hot sauce with my eggs, so I've got my favorite hot sauce here. These are all our ingredients, so let's get moved over to the stove and we'll start bringing our Huevos Rancheros together. Here at the stove, I've got 1 small pot where I'm going to just dump in my can of refried beans. You want to include the bean water that is laying on top of the refried beans here. It will help prevent them from burning, though you will need to keep a close eye on these. If you put it on too high of a heat, they will burn fairly quickly. Now that I have my beans out of the can, I'm going to go ahead and dump in my pickled jalapenos. And I'm going to stir these in, and then I'm going to place them on my back burner on about a medium to low heat. Alright, there we go. I've got the pickled jalapenos completely stirred in, and those are just going to go back there and gently warm up while I start heating up roughly 1/2 inch to 1 inch of vegetable oil that I've already put into this skillet. And you want to do this again over a medium heat. You're also going to need a plate or sheet tray that's been lined with paper towels. We're going to be frying up our tortillas here, so you'll need some place to set them while you fry up as many as you want for the people that you're going to be serving. Once the oil's heated up, we're going to go ahead and start turning our flour tortillas into tostada shells, and you'll know you have a good temperature when you drop them in and it starts forming little bubbles around it, just like that. Don't be alarmed if your tortillas start puffing up. It's going to happen. It's totally fine, and those will deflate eventually. You only want to fry those for roughly a minute or so on each side. And definitely don't walk away from this because these will burn very quickly. Once they turn golden brown on one side, flip them over and cook them for roughly 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds on the other side. Using a set of tongs, I'm going to quickly go in here and check my other side. That looks really good to me, so I'm going to remove it over to my plate that I've lined with paper towel, and I will drop in the next one and continue cooking these until I have the desired amount that I need for today. While I'm cooking these, I do want to be sure to come back here and stir my refried beans. Those look done, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off, and I will let them sit there so they stay warm while we finish frying up our tortillas. Now that I've fried up all the tortillas, I've gone ahead and turned my stove off, but I'm not quite done with this oil yet. I'm going to be cooking the eggs in it, but I don't want to do it right now. I need to let this oil cool down for about 5 minutes or so. If I put my eggs in now, the edges are going to burn and the center white part won't get cooked completely through. Alright, so gently move it off of your burner and set it over into a cool one, and we'll come back and revisit that when it's time. Once we start cooking the eggs, it's going to go very rapidly. You don't want to let them sit in the hot oil for too long or your yolks will get overcooked. So what we want to do is hedge our bets by going ahead and spreading our tostada shells with our refried beans. You definitely want to get this step done in advance so we don't overcook our eggs. Now that our oil is cooled off, I've gone ahead and moved it back over to my burner and turned it on the lowest setting, and I've cracked my egg into a bowl. I just find it easier to control the egg, dropping it into the hot oil from a bowl instead of the shells, or breaking the egg right into it. As you can see, it's going to start gently cooking as soon as it hits the oil. Now that it's been a minute that the bottom part of the egg has been cooking, I want to start cooking the top of it. And to do that, I'm going to very slightly pick up my pan, allow the oil to come to one side of it, and then very gently I'm going to baste the top of my egg with the hot oil. And I'll do this for about the last minute and a half to 2 minutes that I want to cook the egg. I want to make sure that I have a nice runny center, but I want all of the white to be completely cooked. Once your whites are completely cooked, we can go ahead and remove our egg with a slotted spoon. You may need to use your other spoon to gently slide it up on there, which is totally fine. And then just allow your egg to drain any excess oil that's accumulated on the top back into the pan. And once you're happy with how it looks, go ahead and top off your first tostada shell. To finish off our Huevos Rancheros, all we have left to do is add a little bit of our salsa. If you like it warm, you can certainly either warm this up in the microwave, or you can do it in another pot over on your stove. I like it cold, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it that way. Next thing I'm going to do is add just a little bit of my cojita cheese, a little bit of my green onion, a couple of slices of the pickled jalapeno, and all of these toppings are totally optional. If you don't want them on, you don't need to add them. It's just what I kind of like on mine. Maybe one more. I like a lot of the jalapenos, so there we go. That looks pretty good to me. And then the last thing I'm going to add is just a couple of dashes of my hot sauce across the top. Alright guys, let me get a few thumbnail pictures together and we'll go ahead and give this thing a try and see what I think about it. Now that I have all that out of the way, let's go ahead in here and see how I cook the eggs. Oh yeah, look at that nice runny yolk. Oh, that looks so good, y'all. Can't wait to dive in here and try these. I've got to say guys, this dish is absolutely incredible. And even though I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, oh well, all she did was heat up a few ingredients, that wasn't the point of the video. Can I make this whole dish from scratch? 100% yes. Will I do it in the future? More than likely. But the point of the video is to make Huevos Rancheros for a good friend of mine who's never turned on a stove in his life. And I think that's exactly what I've done. Hopefully the steps are easy to follow, and I'll be getting pictures of his version of the dish sometime in the near future. If you would like to see more videos like this for people who don't know how to cook, leave me a comment and a recipe suggestion down below, and I'll see what I can put together. If you guys have enjoyed this video, leave me a comment. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turned out for you. And as always, thank y'all so very much for joining me today. I've been Volker. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.